Hello and welcome to this week's issue of Earbone Podcast, the only podcast that we have B characters tattooed on us, so you know we're the real. I'm Brandon White, the ears to the Earbone Podcast.
And I am Stick, the bones of the Earbones podcast.
And as usual, we will talk about comic books mainly, but anything else that tickles our fancies, other pop culture, and whatnot. You want to just hop right into last week's books?
Certainly.
Is there any book that you wanted to talk about first?
How about Uncanny Avengers? That was last week, right?
Yes, that is Uncanny Avengers 16. And that's the one that has... What is that? The Apocalypse Twin name? What are their names? One of them's Eamon, and one of them's
I don't remember.
Either way, it's the male one. And wielding Jar Jar Born?
Jar
Born?
Not Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks.
Jesus.
The axe that young Thor used, I believe, that
Yeah.
Kang took. This whole story has been so convoluted, but so fantastic.
But it's coming together perfectly right now.
Fantastic cover. And we were left with the ultimate judger, I believe, last issue.
Yes.
And he came in and he said that the Earth was sentenced to death.
I believe that is correct.
And this one... I mean, what really happens in this?
Well, first off, Thor is just a badass.
Yes, I mean, we've always known
Like
that.
when he busts in with Captain America's shield and...
that is a great picture. That is a phenomenal... And they do have the plan to separate the Apocalypse Twins, so they can actually try to defeat them, but they still put up a hell of a fight.
Well, Cap's pretty cunning with his diversion.
Yes, but the Apocalypse Twins have slowly turned into some of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah,
They're just phenomenal.
They've come around.
They're not overpowered, but they're so powerful. It's unbelievable.
I really enjoyed it, and then fucking Thor throwing the male twin through that portal to the sun, just fucking his arm up.
Wasp was pretty badass in this too.
Yeah, she was.
Super sad moment when Thor closes Scarlet Witch's eyes.
Yeah.
I felt it. I really didn't enjoy that. Scarlet Witch, as you know, being one of my favorite characters, it was not a good time for me.
Well, honestly, the way this is going, I feel like it's all going to get retconned.
A little time travel action?
Yeah.
Just going back.
If Kang's in it, then you can't take it seriously.
Oh, yeah, there was a phenomenal series when he threw him through that portal.
It was awesome.
And then it seems that the one Apocalypse Twin is teamed up with the Judgment, the Executioner, I believe he's called, something like that.
Yes.
Has a very cosmic Jack Kirby type of look with his armor.
He's even got the Kirby crackle going around.
Yeah. I mean, the final splash page is absolutely incredible.
Thor's arm just mangled.
But, I mean, it took us a long time to get here.
It did, but...
I've enjoyed the ride.
There were some issues I was kind of iffy, like when they went into that alternate universe.
I think that's because they're so far apart.
Yes.
If they were a little closer, because every issue I have to try to remember what happened.
I think in a trade it would be phenomenal.
There is I do watch somebody on YouTube who reviews the trades, and they think it's the best series out right now, which I wish I could say, but it's so hard for me to remember what happened. But I could imagine running right through them would be phenomenal.
I mean, I forgot all about that jobber joint or whatever that Kang stole until this issue. I'm like, you know what? They never did resolve that. Like, I don't remember what Wolverine's hang-up with it was. Or I think he was just hung up with it over the Apocalypse Twins.
Do you mean when they busted in and he had the look on his face? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
That he was shocked by the axe? I think he was more shocked that his son was one of the Apocalypse Horsemen.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, he killed his son in Uncanny X-Force?
Still, Reaper being one of the Horsemen is awesome.
Yes. And him and Wonder Man is phenomenal.
Yes.
I've developed a new love for Wonder Man. And we'll touch on that a little bit later. I got a back issue that involves Wonder Man.
I like his relationship with Scarlet Witch.
Yes, yeah, I do. But see, me being such a big fan of Vision, it's tough.
Yeah,
but I also like the relationship between Vision and Wonder Man because technically they're brothers.
True, and technically that Vision's not really. He doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, after She-Hulk destroyed him.
The new Vision's so powerful. Which you'll know if you read Avengers AI. But staying on the subject of Thor, you're not reading Thor currently, are you?
No, but I jumped on it after you showed me the preview.
Well, Thor God of Thunder 18 was a filler issue in between the Malekith story arc and the next story arc, which seems to be old Thor versus old Galactus, which I'm super excited about. Jason Aaron has a letter he writes in the back of this that talks about it. And Simone Bianchi will be back on the art, thankfully, because he was phenomenal in Thor, but New Avengers, a little iffy.
Well, what is this old Galactus? Is it Galactus from the past?
Okay, well,
like past Thor is fighting him?
No, because I explained to you Thor before, correct? Because you weren't on Thor at all, were you?
No.
It's written in 3 timelines. There's young Thor, who is the one who actually wields Jargeborn, however you pronounce it, like the axe.
We'll just call it Jar Jar Binks from now on.
Okay, there's current Thor, who we all know, and there's old Thor. King Thor is his name, and he controls all of Asgard, and Asgard's pretty much dead, but he's still the controller. He is basically the current, what Odin is to now, he is in the future.
Okay.
And they all had to come together to defeat the God Butcher.
Now, are they on the same timeline, or are they just separate?
No.
I mean, I know you say, but they're not. Are they the same Thor, just different times?
Yes, they're the same Thor.
Okay.
But after the God Bomb series ended, they all went back to their separate timelines, and I guess it said that they were slowly going to forget it.
Okay.
But I guess the next story arc because this story arc involved, this solo issue, Thor 18, was young Thor. And he was just out partying and gallivanting, and he came into this town. They wanted him to help them with who's pillaging and killing their people. And they thought it was this dragon. And he wakes up beside this dragon, but they think the dragon's dead, so they're all like bowing to him. The dragon just wakes up, he's like, "What happened last night?" This dragon talks. And Thor's like, "Oh, I don't remember what happened." And then eventually he remembers his memory, what happened last night. He said, we killed what ravaged your town. It wasn't this dragon, it was like goblins or something. Later we find out that this dragon is hated by his dad because he doesn't want to eat humans.
What?
And eventually he turns on Thor, and it's a battle, but the star of this book was the art. I showed you the art.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's by Das Patoris. It looks painted to me, in a way, maybe.
I don't know, let me see.
But the art is, the coloring is absolutely phenomenal. There's just subtle colors in there. There's a pink where you wouldn't expect it. There's a purple where you wouldn't expect it. But it all magically comes together.
It looks colored pencil. Oil or
Okay,
something.
yeah, I could see that. It is beautiful though. I highly recommend that if you just want to read a good book, a solo book, no storyline connecting anywhere else, and want to enjoy a massive amount of art, to pick up Thor number 18.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Moving on to another book I read last week. Avengers Assemble number 23. I'm just going to quickly run through some of these because none of them were that great.
Yeah, I'm not on that, so.
Wolverine and this young Spider-Girl, they team up. Like, I don't even know who this Spider-Girl is. She wears like a black suit Spider-Girl costume.
That Spider-Girl, I don't know if it's the same one, but she had like one of the longest runs of a female
Her name's Anya?
hero in Marvel.
Is her name Anya?
I don't know. I have like 2 issues.
Because it says her name's Anya in this book. But Wolverine makes her put on like Kevlar and stuff, and it's actually a decent issue. It's written by Kelly Sue DeConnick, who is slowly becoming one of the best writers Marvel has right now. But yeah, the team at the beginning was Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl, and Wolverine. But it looks like moving forward it's going to be Wolverine and Spider-Girl.
That'd be interesting.
And it's going along the lines of Inhumanity, so...
That's still going on, huh?
Yeah, it is, which... Moving on to Inhumanity, I read the last issue of Inhumanity, which has Medusa on the cover, phenomenal cover, with her hair holding up like an avalanche.
Wow.
And it was less about her and more about her people, about how they're just scattered everywhere, and there's moments where...
That's awesome.
There's moments where they're getting like taken by AIM and taken by Hydra, and she swoops and she says, "No, these are my people, you will not touch them. We're taking them with us." And they are dangerous, yes, but she's also is the queen of the Inhumans. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing.
I just feel like they're doing this so they can come up with more villains and not have to worry about backstories as much.
See, I saw more as because the X-Men have become accepted, mutant kind has become accepted, they needed another scapegoat. They needed another way to work racism, if you will, into
that's true.
the book.
I could see that.
Add more Inhumans, there it is. But at the end of this Inhumanity, she is just longing for Black Bolt and her son. But we know her son was with FF. I guess this isn't in continuity or, because her and her son were both with FF. Or
Yeah.
her was there.
Yeah.
But obviously she doesn't know Black Bolt is gone. She doesn't know Black Bolt's alive. She thinks he died.
Yeah.
But it was decent. I don't know how many more of these there are. But Matt Fraction can write a decent book. We both know that.
I don't see what's coming out of it. I mean, I'm sure later on it's going to develop into something bigger, but
I really hope my coffee sipping isn't going crazy on this.
it's all right.
Did you get off the Flash? You still on the Flash?
No, I read that.
Did you read the last issue?
No.
Because it's new art team. New writing and new art team.
Really?
Because remember before it was Manipul and Bocello?
Okay.
But they did that art that it always looked like it was moving.
Yes.
And it was phenomenal.
They had those, like, crazy...
Interlocking
Yes.
panels and everything. Yes, I believe they're on Detective Comics now, to tell you the truth.
Oh, that sucks.
But I actually really enjoyed it.
I did too.
I enjoyed the last issue, and I enjoyed this. It's investigating more of Barry Allen's life as opposed to Flash's life.
It made me want to keep reading. Like,
Exactly,
I wanted to
yes.
know what his dad won't tell him and what the head detective guy won't tell him.
Yeah. I love... It's Barry Allen being an actual investigator. I feel like every Flash book I've read has just been him being the Flash and running around. But this actually shows him as Barry Allen.
Well, I think it should. I mean, in Justice League, it should be Flash running around.
Yes.
With a little bit of development.
Yes.
But Flash should really...
And I love the Flash. Don't get me wrong.
I know you do. I believe it.
Next, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I loved it.
First thing I want to say is when Star-Lord is drinking in the bar and the Gamora, in quotations, approaches him, how excited were you with that outfit on? First thing I thought of was how excited you would be upon seeing that.
You know I'm a sucker for girls with green skin.
You're a sucker for women in comics that are ample.
Well, to a point, but I really do like Gamora. I think she's, I don't know, like noble in her like own sense.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
She has her own morals.
She's super dangerous, too.
Yes.
And that's one of the best things. How did you like the Gamora and Angela team up in this book?
See, that's what I like. That's what I read this book for, honestly.
I loved it. I thought I was going to hate Angela.
Yeah,
I thought she was going to come in and they were going to make her this supreme being. But she came in and she fit right into Guardians of the Galaxy.
And no, it's perfect. It's like she's just like
it
lost, trying to find her place.
It was seamless. And it sucks that Age of Ultron had to happen for that to happen. But,
yeah.
I guess we got to take it with a grain of
like,
salt.
I really like the scene where she kills the fake Gamora, who was a Skrull, I believe.
Yes.
And Gamora's all mad, and instead Angela gives her his little spaceship thing as compensation.
I like the little banter between Tony Stark and Rocket. That was a good moment.
Yeah.
But this trial of Jean Grey.
Well, go back to the last page there. I was confused. It says they're too late, but who is that? Kitty Pryde?
That's Kitty Pryde.
Okay.
And she's crying because Jean Grey's gone.
Already gone. Okay.
Yes. But I'm not on X-Men.
I'm not.
Or
either.
I'm not on All New X-Men, which is where the story's going to continue. So, I mean, we'll see the Guardians of the Galaxy half of it, I guess.
Yeah, certainly. Which I think they're going to have more of a role in it since it is like a cosmic trial.
Yes and no.
Well, I don't understand. Like, they made good points in there how, yes, the Phoenix and Jean Grey did kill everyone, but this Jean Grey didn't do that.
Yeah, it's going to be weird.
But Gladiator still wants to pursue it, but the rest of them are like,
yeah,
it's
which,
not even...
Which Gladiator's always been I've been a fan of Gladiator.
I don't know,
And
that feels out of
like
character.
Him. Exactly.
That's very out of character.
Although he is always morally upstanding. No matter what he ever did, there was morals behind it. I could see where he's coming from. But it still doesn't seem like something he would say.
Yeah, I didn't...
I could see, like, the Supreme Intelligence saying something like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
But not Gladiator. Last week, Red Lanterns, you didn't read that.
No.
Basically, it's just Guy Gardner, who we'll talk about more when we read this week's issue. We'll talk about that. But Guy Gardner goes back to Earth to talk to one of his old girlfriends. I'm not familiar with any of it. And two of the Red Lanterns are searching for the ring that is, looking for a new host, if you will.
Why didn't you let me read that before I read that one?
I don't know.
Come on, guys.
Because the reveal at the end was that Atrocitus had it. Like, in a weird little shack. And you don't know who Atrocitus is.
No, but, I mean, I always would have cared about fighting that shadow lady thing.
I mean, that's really all it was. 2 Red Lanterns went with Guy Gardner to Earth.
That horrible
and
mustache.
They said, this is a horrible place. What is wrong here? This is horrible. Everything sucks. And Guy Gardner gave them a list of things to go see. And as they were seeing them, they ran into that woman. So and so happened. Leads into the book we'll talk about later. Superior Spider-Man, number 26. War of the Goblins. Looks like it's begun.
First off, I thought War of the Goblins started like 6 months ago.
I thought it happened already.
Like,
in a different book somewhere.
Like, I don't care anymore.
No. I could care less about these goblins.
I like the little thing at the end, how that wasn't really Kingsley.
Yeah.
I believe. And Spider-Man's little temper tantrum. When he jumped out.
When he quit the Avengers?
Yeah, just jumped out the window. Like.
But I don't care. And now that I know
The
this...
battle between the two goblins was good. But I didn't care before that. And I really don't care after. We know Osborn's back, but I didn't even know he wasn't around.
No, it wasn't a reveal for me. I didn't care. And knowing that this book is ending, and that it seems like Doc Ock is gone, I've cared less and less about this book.
Well,
at this point, I'm on to complete it. That's it.
Well, it's ending, and it's turning into Amazing Spider-Man, but there was, like, nothing developed with Ock in there. Like, I don't feel like Ock has any story.
No, they're just going to get rid of him. They were developing Peter more than Ock, and Ock is the guy who is Spider-Man.
Yeah, like, I think Ock had, like, maybe a page and a half in there.
Yeah, and the rest was Goblins and Peter Parker.
Yeah, I mean,
you might as well name it Amazing Spider-Man now.
You can't start the big shake-up of making Spock, and then not even giving him any... I don't even know it. I don't feel like he has a good foundation.
Who?
Spock.
Yeah, well, he did it first.
He did, and they just kind of...
They destroyed it
got
from
rid
the
of
bottom
it.
up.
It just started as a great thing, and they just ruined it.
Superman number 27. A new Superman fan that you are. How'd you feel about this issue?
Oh, I wouldn't go fan.
A new Superman reader.
Okay. I enjoyed it. I liked his little...
I'd like to say when I started reading this, I instantly remembered what happened with Parasite.
Oh, you did?
Instantly.
Good, see? Making me feel like an idiot. But I liked his little... Near the end when he has the realization that he just risks Lois' life to prevent his secret identity from getting out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. It's a character development. Another thing that seemed out of character. And then the reveal of Starfire, who...
Not that Starfire, not the scantily clad...
See, but the way it's explained here, it says Starfire at the bottom. It looks like her.
It does.
But they don't explain who this guy is.
Maybe that's not Starfire. Maybe it's just...
Some guy we should have known who he was.
Yeah.
I read a lot of Superman. I read a lot of Superman.
Is there a cover preview on the next page or something?
No, they don't do that in DC. I don't think anymore. But yeah, I don't know who he is. He's an alien, but he looks badass.
He looks like Dormammu.
A little
throwing
bit.
it out there.
A little hotter because he's blue fire.
Oh, see what you did there.
But I liked it. I mean, I'll always be a Superman.
I did. I enjoyed it, and that's saying something for me.
Yeah. Something I didn't talk to you about was this Thunderbolts issue. Thunderbolts number 21, written by Charles Soule, art by Carlos Barbari. Pronunciation is definitely not a key advancement we're going to have here. But they're in hell. They get trapped in hell, and apparently we find out that Red Hulk is wanted. Somebody's already claimed him with the pentagram on his chest. So they can't get out of hell. Eventually, they run around doing whatnot. Dormammu comes out of nowhere. And they're talking about, the leader, the manager of hell. And they're talking to Dormammu, and he threatens him a little bit. Eventually, the leader, the Red Leader, you know who Red Leader is, correct? He's the one who has the monster brain and super smart, genius level.
Never ran into him.
All right, well, he's always been a Hulk villain. He was Green
okay.
before.
Okay, if you say that, then I know. Yes.
Well, him and Dormammu. No, it's not even Dormammu. Who is it then?
Isn't that Mephisto?
That's who it is. I was thinking of Mephisto.
Okay.
Because he is the leader of hell. He's the owner of hell. Well, they eventually start bargaining because the leader's super intelligent. And he wants to use his intelligence to bargain with him properly. So they have this long list of bargaining. Eventually, they threaten Mephisto and find out that he's not the leader of hell anymore. He's not the ruler of hell. He wants the Thunderbolts' help to regain control of hell.
Oh.
And the reveal at the end is who the actual ruler of hell now is. Guido. Strongman.
Really?
From X Factor, the big dude.
What?
Exactly.
What?
It's such a strange reveal.
Wow.
It's such a strange reveal that I feel like Charles Soule has something huge in mind behind it. You know what I mean?
I can't even believe that.
But it is a phenomenal reveal, though.
I
How
would've
he's just sitting in the chair and he's just staring.
Wow. That actually almost makes me want to read that.
I want to know who. I want to know how.
Yes.
And the art is good on this too.
It looks alright.
It got a hell of a lot better compared to what it used to be.
Oh my god, that's why I dropped it after those first 5 issues.
There's also a side story about Elektra and Punisher helping each other out, doing God knows what.
Just killing drug dealers.
Pretty much, yeah.
Same thing Punisher does. Every issue.
Alright, I guess we'll talk about Uncanny X-Force, number 17, the final issue. Phenomenal cover of Skeleton Strife here. Did I talk about this with you, about what happened? Did you read it? Did you read the last issue of Cable? When Hope went after Bishop?
Not on Cable.
I thought you read it last time you were here. Either way.
No, I don't think I did.
Hope went after Bishop because obviously he hunted her forever.
Yeah.
And upon going to find them, Cable was taken by Strife when the same time they were. Cable was tied up. Bishop and Hope were tied up in the same room. It was Strife's goal to make Hope kill Bishop. Because he's like manipulating all that. And he had Cable watching, but Hope couldn't hear anything. He was like behind a thing. So this opens up with Hope stabbing Bishop.
Oh.
But like saying that she didn't hit any arteries, it's clean. She doesn't want to be like him. There's a long series of fighting. The Uncanny X-Force show up. Psylocke, Storm. I can't even remember who else is in that. Puck is involved.
Not the good Uncanny X-Force.
Not the good X-Force, no. They show up and they fight him. Eventually, a phenomenal scene where Strife just says he's going nuts. And he's going to stab their eyes. He's done.
Oh.
But taken out by Cable.
Really?
Cable with no powers, like very limited powers, takes out an Omega level Strife. So when Strife leaves, when he's leaving, you know how Hope siphons off powers and uses them? Well, he says, I know you can't handle Omega level energy, so take my energy. You are now a human bomb. So she siphoned off like some of his powers, and he disappeared. But she is now holding this Omega mutant level energy that she's never used before. She's never been that kind of level.
But of course, Strife's not dead.
No, Strife went away.
Oh.
So then it turned into her trying to control this and not explode, and Bishop talks her into controlling it. Because Bishop's power is absorbing and releasing. And she says, like, where do I release? And he says, up, eventually. And, phenomenal scenes. This book wrapped up magically.
Those panels are awesome.
But eventually, it just leads to kind of Hope saying, I'm still going to kill you. You deserve it. This was just not the right conditions.
That looks good.
It was very good.
Did it wrap up the series good enough?
It did wrap up the series because then we have Psylocke talking to Cable and saying it's a crazy world out there. And Storm saying, because the reason Storm joined Uncanny X-Force with Psylocke in the first place is because Psylocke said that there wasn't many people in it. Like, there's not enough people for X-Force. And she said, all right, I'll join. So she eventually says there's not, it looks like there's enough of you guys. I don't have to be this anymore. And it's leading into the new X-Force coming, has to be next week or the week after. But we talked about that. It's Cable, Psylocke, Phantom X, and some weird girl. We're not sure who she is. But it did. It wrapped it up magically. Sam Humphries, I believe he's the same guy who writes Avengers AI. Phenomenal job on this story arc.
Now, a couple questions that you might be able to answer. Again, I haven't read it, but just from what you've told me, what happened to the Hope Strife? Was that an alternate timeline, or?
I think it was just way, way future. Like, super in the future.
Okay.
And, yes, she just wanted to teach Hope to not let that happen. So, eventually, if Hope makes decisions to not become her, then I guess it would turn into an alternate timeline.
Okay.
Is that it? You got another
one? That's it.
So, a few questions turn into Where's Hope?
Well, I got that confused with Cable and X-Force.
Well, I mean, the both books wrapped up in the same story arc.
What happened to Colossus, then?
Colossus and Domino are still hanging out and pounding.
Oh, nice.
Which is always phenomenal.
That's all I wanted to know.
They need a book together.
I'd read it.
I'd read a Domino Colossus book. And now, I'm going to go over this back issue.
Oh, Lord.
West Coast Avengers number 36. Dr. Pym Must Die. It opens up, and there's this Russian, or this crazy Russian guy who's called like the Voice or something. He had history with Hank Pym, but I guess he has a power where whatever he says, people have to obey. So he tells all of the Avengers to hunt Pym. And this is when he's not Ant-Man, he's not Giant Man. This is when he calls himself like the scientific adventurer, Hank Pym. And he has that watch that he like miniaturized a bunch of stuff that he just grows when he needs it.
Oh, Hank.
So he's just running through this maze while all of the Avengers are hunting him. All of the West Coast Avengers. Wonder Man, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Moon Knight, Tigra. All of them. And Hawkeye, Mockingbird. All of... Whatever happened to Mockingbird? I miss Mockingbird. She's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. now. But where is she?
I thought she was dead.
I thought she was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because I looked on the Marvel Wiki, and it didn't say she was dead.
I thought she died in the,
I thought she died too, but it didn't say she did.
in that, what's that Skrull War? Secret Invasion. I thought she died in that.
I don't know. Who knows? Either way. The only person who truly wasn't affected by the Voice was Moon Knight, because he's schizophrenic, he has 3 different things. So he just switched out of Mark Spector into Khonshu, so he wouldn't be affected. So there is bits where Moon Knight is kind of helping Hank get away. Like he points Vision and Scarlet Witch a different way. But first when he comes up on his here, he fights Hawkeye. And he ends up outsmarting Hawkeye. Which is just incredible. It's an incredible moment. He knocks him out. Starts running away again. Eventually Vision comes through. And that's like father versus son, pretty much. Eventually realizes the only way he can really stop Vision is by injuring Scarlet Witch. Because he cares so much that he'll abandon Hank to help Scarlet Witch. You know, that they kind of leave each other. Tiger attacks. Just runs away. Pretty much as simple as it goes. Moon Knight says he went that way, when he actually went the other way. But eventually, he comes into this room, and it's his ex-wife who died. Remember his first wife?
Yeah.
Who kind of told him to go investigate the ants? Because her father was like a specialist in the ants?
Yeah.
Finds her kept alive with this monstrous brain. I was mind blown.
That's crazy.
I've never heard about it.
I haven't either.
After this, he says, "All right, I'm quitting the West Coast Avengers again, so I can help my ex-wife." And there's a super weird, but super cool moment where him and Janet say, "Well, I guess we were never married technically, so we never got divorced. Hug, hug, kiss, kiss."
What?
Exactly. Because their marriage was technically never legal, because his first wife, was still alive.
No, that's true.
So it was like hug, hug, kiss, kiss.
Never even heard of that.
And I mean, I love West Coast Avengers. But at the end of it, Vision and Scarlet Witch are talking about how, marriage is great, you know? Everybody can deal with a good marriage. Looks like marriage solved everything here. And it's the issue where Mockingbird says, "Clint and I are getting a divorce." And that's how it closed up. And these were just phenomenal. I love the whole West Coast Avengers series. This one was written by Steve Englehart. Al Milgrom did the layouts, and
Mockingbird might be a Hawkeye.
I don't read Hawkeye.
There's an awkward moment where it's Kate Bishop, Mockingbird, and like this chick he's sleeping with. They all like run into each other. Like they all meet up at his house.
Isn't Kate Bishop like 16 years old?
Yeah.
And he's sleeping with her.
No, he's not sleeping with Kate.
Well, that's what you just said.
No, some chick he's sleeping with, like a total different woman.
Oh, okay.
Who he like saved from drug dealers or something. He steals a car.
I don't read Hawkeye.
It's good, I'm telling you.
It's too late for me to jump on it, I feel. It's way too late. Alright, moving on to the only book that both of us read this week so far. I read a few other ones, but we'll talk about this next week. The Green Lantern, Red Lantern flip book.
Flip book?
Number 28 flip book.
I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
$2.99 for basically 2 books.
Which is still
You
considering...
read one way till you're halfway through the book, and you flip the book over and you read it the other way. It's part 1 and 2 of the same story. Bargain. Absolute bargain.
I wish you did that more often.
Yeah, it was great. And the cover is beautiful.
Yes.
It's Supergirl coming out of the blood pool, the blood lake of Red Lantern Planet or whatever they are.
Yeah.
That makes them kind of sane again, I guess.
Yes.
As the Red Lantern. How do you feel about this?
I think it's awesome. I feel like reading part 1, you feel like you missed something. But once you read part 2, it kind of brings it together.
It works itself out.
Like how she could have became a Red Lantern.
Because, I mean, same thing with me, though. Like, I read even last week's issue of Red Lanterns. But when I read the Green Lantern part of this full book, I thought I missed something. I said, what happened? Like, maybe she did appear in the last issue of Green Lantern? I don't know. I'm not on Green Lantern.
Yeah, but even in her own solo book, it had nothing that was leading up to this,
No.
other than her being
rage.
pissed off.
Her rage did lead up to it. Like, you could see it coming.
But I mean, she was gonna fight Lobo.
Yeah.
And then she comes flying out of space all...
Yeah, I'm wondering if, like, her book was supposed to be out before this.
That's possible.
And they hurried it. Because I felt like this wasn't supposed to happen for a week or two.
But I don't feel like one issue of Supergirl will sum up what...
happened in between?
Yes. Like, I feel like they still have to finish what's going on in Supergirl with Lobo. And that weird, out of reality place she's in.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was weird. But I did like the input that Simon Baz, they talked about Simon Baz. They added Simon Baz in his continuity.
Yes.
They said he's going to stay on Earth, consider him an ambassador. But, I mean, actually, I love Guy Gardner now. I hated Guy Gardner when he had that bowl cut, and he was just a dick all the time. I read an issue when he was, like, taking a shower, and, like, somebody came in and he, like, yelled at him. It was a really weird issue, but that was my first experience with Guy Gardner.
Mine was Justice League International, where they fight this bread dough monster.
Oh, that sounds good.
And then they have a party, and it's just Guy Gardner and...
Was it like a toast party?
And Blue Beetle with lampshades on their heads
love
and
Blue
stuff.
Beetle.
I was like, what is going on?
I liked the last Blue Beetle.
Yeah, you did. You did up until a point, and then you're like, I don't even want to read this anymore.
Yeah, it was garbage, but I was on it to finish it. But yeah, she's a Red Lantern now, and the Red Lanterns have claimed Sector, what was 2014 or 2814?
There's some kind of numbers.
Well, it's the sector with Earth in it.
Yeah.
So it's basically our sector, which is good, because I told you I'm subscribed to Red Lanterns now. I could not read Red Lanterns if it was just everywhere else. Then again, with Charles Soule writing, I probably could, because he doesn't leave you hanging, which you read in this.
I feel like that was a story that left enough for me wanting more, but didn't leave me like, wow, nothing happened, you know?
Correct.
What I've gathered from this, though, is that this Red Lantern, Green Lantern war isn't all Red Lanterns versus all Green Lanterns. It's going to be, what I'm just guessing, again, I don't read Lantern books, but it's going to be the Green Lanterns, and it seems to be Guy Gardner and a couple of those, I don't know their names, but the two lackeys that were with him.
The ball guy and the horse-looking guy.
Yes, versus
Horse skeleton.
Atrocious or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more Red Lantern versus Red Lantern.
Yes.
And I hope that it's Supergirl that destroys Atrocitus.
That would be awesome.
How incredible would that be?
I would...
Now, do you think they missed an opportunity of having Supergirl stay mad and just destroy things as a Red Lantern before she turns into something?
Yeah, I think they should have more to a point, because then you get the whole Jean Grey thing. You know?
I mean, she did pretty much take on 3 Green Lanterns by herself.
Yeah.
Until they got her under control, which is unheard of, because their only weakness is magic, which that's all the Green Lanterns use.
She destroyed a bunch of them while they were trying to hold her in a cage.
Oh, it was awesome.
It
was awesome. I really do love the book, and you will continue to read Red Lanterns as I get it now.
Yes.
But neither of us are on Green Lantern, so...
Yeah, and that
doesn't really matter.
Surprise. So.
Next, the news. We need to get little jingles to put in here.
Jingles.
News. Sorry. News. Did you see Jesse Eisenberg cast as Lex Luthor?
I thought those were a hoax.
No.
No?
Jesse Eisenberg, the curly-haired dude from...
Superbad?
No, not from Superbad. He wasn't in Superbad. He was in that Facebook movie. Him and Justin Timberlake, I believe that was him.
Oh, yes.
And he was in... Was he the guy from Zombieland? The kid from Zombieland?
Oh, him. The one that looks like Michael Cera, but it's not Michael Cera.
He was in... There was another movie with...
He's in Adventureland.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Adventureland.
He is in Zombieland, too.
Is he in Zombieland, too?
Yes, that is him.
Okay, yeah, he was cast as Lex Luthor. I haven't seen him bald, so I'm not going to say anything, but it seems like a really young Lex Luthor.
I saw a picture on Facebook. It was him as Lex Luthor, the fat guy from Superbad with the curly hair.
Jonah Hill?
Yeah, as Penguin.
I saw that, too. But Jesse Eisenberg is actually
That's
cast.
confirmed.
That's confirmed.
I don't know.
Unless I missed something and it is a hoax.
The fact that I saw it, I'm like, this is a hoax.
I'm almost positive
Like, I was
true.
going to text you and tell you, like, whoa, did you see that? I'm like, this isn't real. Get out of here.
I'm almost positive it's 100%.
Because you'd be like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. But no.
But I feel like Ben Affleck looks like he's 106 years old.
He's going to be 106 by the time that movie comes out.
But, like, how is Lex Luthor going to be that young? I mean,
Superman is that young.
Henry Cavill isn't that young. He doesn't look that young.
That's true.
Jesse Eisenberg looks 20, tops. Maybe bald, he'll look a little older. But, I mean, you're going to get late 20s out of him, maximum, without makeup? I mean, maybe they do makeup, it's alright. But I can't see it. I can't see Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I believe he's a good enough actor that he could pull off the role.
Yes, that's for sure.
I don't know if the visual aspect will be there.
I don't know, though. I've never seen him do serious things. He always has
awkward.
He's the Michael Cera problem. He's always the awkward, weird, quiet one, you know?
We'll see at the rate this movie's going. They're just going to scrap it. It's never going to happen anyway.
That's what they usually do at DC. I don't believe anything about DC movies until I see previews on TV.
Alright, next bit of news. Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer, which I had to make sure you saw before we started this.
Yeah, and it was fantastic.
It was. I've said many times that I think... I don't even know what his name is. What's that actor's name? For some reason, I'm thinking Janine Garofalo. And that's absolutely
feel like
not
that's
it.
even a real person.
It's a real person.
Oh.
She was in News Radio.
She?
One of those movies. Janine Garofalo is a real person. It was News Radio or like one of those 90s sitcoms. Moving forward.
Anyway, yeah, because I don't even...
It's something like that. It's not James Gandolfini. It's some weird name like that. It's probably nothing like that. His name's probably like Bob Smith.
I don't
not
remember
Bob
for
Smith.
some reason.
But he's a much better Peter Parker than Tobey Maguire ever was.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire... I feel like he whispered the whole movie. Like, every movie, he just
So what
whispered.
you're saying is you put him in a movie with Christian Bale Batman, and you're whispering and talking with a mouthful of marbles the whole time.
There's too far on each spectrum on that one.
You would have to turn the movie up and down.
But does he even like talk loud in the old Spider-Man movies? I don't think so.
Did he say anything?
I can't hear him.
The only scene that I remember is the kiss with the Dunst.
Yeah.
The upside down kiss. That's the only scene I remember.
I remember that horrible dance in Spider-Man 3.
Honestly, it's been so long since I've seen either of them. I have no idea.
Spider-Man 2 was alright. I like the Doc Ock scene on the train.
But I was iffy about Jamie Foxx as Electro. I'm not iffy anymore.
No, I think it's a new spin on Electro. It might not be. I don't know what Ultimate Electro was.
I didn't know.
Again, I never read
I don't know Ultimate Electro either. But I have a friend who said every time he watches a Jamie Foxx movie, he thinks Jamie Foxx is going to break into song and dance at any minute. This is the way he acts.
I didn't get that from that trailer, though.
I didn't get that from that trailer. I've never thought that. I think Jamie Foxx is a hell of an actor. But
I have a couple worries with it, though.
I think it's going to... What are your worries?
Well, one, from what I saw in the movie, it looked like Electro was in something. And if he's in the Rhino armor, which I believe...
No, Rhino will be in the Rhino armor. It'll be... What's his name? From Sideways.
There's actually someone going to be Rhino.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the Rhino armor.
Yeah, what's his name? He's in Sideways.
It has a weird name. It was a clever ring to it.
Yeah, damn it.
We're not good with names here.
I wish I would have written any of this
write things down.
I write some things down.
We were bad at this.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. It'll pop up to me in like 20 minutes.
Also, I don't want it to have, like I said, the Spider-Man 3 problem.
With too many villains coming at once with no backstory.
And absolutely no build-up, you know?
Well, everybody knows who the Goblin is. I don't think they need to build him up. They're going to have to say something about Rhino. They're going to have... Electro obviously has a backstory. Who else were they bringing in? Vulture? Because they're going to have the Sinister Six. I think Vulture's next movie.
Well, in the trailer, if you saw them walking through that lab, there was Doc Ock's arms, and it looked like Vulture wings, which, you know...
Yes.
Also, I like the Rhino armor. It really makes Rhino more believable.
It does, rather than a dude wearing a horn.
Yeah.
I always love that character.
Don't get me wrong.
It's not applicable in the Marvel universe.
There's a time and a place. I think Tim Burton could probably have done it, but that's neither here nor there.
He would have turned it into like a Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, well, I like Batman Returns. Leave me alone.
You like Sweeney Todd.
I didn't.
Moving on. RoboCop movie. Have you seen the trailer for the RoboCop, the remake of RoboCop?
I saw the suit.
They like reinvented it almost.
I didn't see the trailer.
It's gonna bomb.
Really?
I never saw the full trailer either. I catch like glimpses of it on on a commercial, but I don't care enough to look for it.
Yeah, I think RoboCop was fine as RoboCop.
It's interesting.
I don't think
I don't know how to explain it. I've never been a RoboCop fan.
Actually, I don't know if this is true. I think it's just like a fan rumor, kind of fan theory, one should say, that RoboCop, the old one, was the predecessor to the Terminators and Skynet. Like, it's the same
Universe.
Yes.
I think I've heard that before.
And the RoboCops eventually.
But that's not confirmed or anything. That's
just
a theory.
You know what? I feel like there is something. I just can't remember. But I like it. I always enjoyed that.
I probably watched a RoboCop movie once in my entire life. I should probably revisit it because it's a pretty horrible movie. And I love horrible movies.
I don't know. They're pretty good. The first one's good.
Yeah, well, I've heard some conflicting arguments about the first one.
It's better than Nacho Libre. Let's leave it at that.
This isn't turning into a thing. We're not going to talk about Nacho Libre every.
I think we should.
I hate it. We're done. We're passing over it.
But before no, it has nothing to do with Nacho Libre.
It better not.
But on RoboCop and badass cop things, I watched the new Judge Dredd the other day.
I love it.
It was phenomenal.
I loved it.
It was awesome.
I did. I absolutely loved it, and I couldn't believe how good it was.
I know. I was like,
it bombed in the box office.
How?
Because nobody went to see it.
I mean, I've never seen the original Stallone in it, but so I wouldn't.
Don't.
I kind of need to now.
No,
I doubt it'll be anything as fantastic as that was, but
the slow-mo was phenomenal. Although without the slow-mo in that movie, it's like 25 minutes long.
I feel like some points it was getting a little much.
Yeah.
Like I was like, eh.
But the movie as a whole, I loved.
The fact that he never took his helmet off is what sold it for me.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, if he's gonna take it off and have like this touchy moment with that girl,
like a makeout scene.
I'm like, no, he was just badass through and through.
Well, there was a moment where I thought he was gonna give her his helmet. That would have upset me.
Yeah.
Because like when she lost her helmet, he said, "Where's your helmet?"
And his voice didn't bother me. It wasn't like a Batman voice.
No.
He's just so man.
He was just a bad dude.
You know?
Who was he though? Who was the actor?
I don't know.
Because I recognized the bottom of his face.
I feel like he's the guy who plays Dr. McCoy in the new Star Trek movies.
I'm lost on that. No,
I'll look it up while we continue.
Well, you know what's next, right?
No.
Character Creation Corner.
Character Creation Corner.
And I'm going to give you the name, and I mean I'm a little bummed out. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little bummed because I feel like no matter what I do from here on out, I'll never be able to top Foursquareskin.
Foursquareskin.
I feel like there's no way that he'll be topped. So I really struggled, and I got a little depressed. I had a barrel in my mouth. My finger was on a trigger. I was a little upset. So bear with me here.
Oh Lord.
The name is Loose Noose.
Loose Noose.
Loose Noose.
Okay.
Is his name. I'm gonna tell you his powers too. That'll help you out.
All right.
He has supreme telekinetic and telepathic abilities. You can probably ask a few questions before you try to guess what he is if you want.
Okay. So his name is Loose Noose, and he's got telepathic
and telekinetic abilities.
Telekinetic abilities. Loose Noose. All right. Okay. I'd say he's a villain. I keep going with villain because I like villains for some reason, and he has like ropes that are like Ghost Rider's chains. That what did you just break?
I broke a pen.
Jesus, that he, controls kind of like Medusa's hair, but with nooses on the end.
Using his telekinetic abilities.
Yes, and he gets them around their throat and just hangs them.
Okay. I mean, you could ask me a few questions before you guessed. You could ask me, like, where he was, what nationality he is.
I was pretty sure about that answer.
You're pretty sure about it. All right. You're incorrect.
Oh.
He was a man who was severely addicted to autoerotic asphyxiation. Severely addicted. He almost died. He almost killed himself while performing the act of autoerotic asphyxiation.
That's always embarrassing.
And when he came to in the hospital, he was supremely ashamed. And he questioned his sanity. He was scared of his own addiction. He moved to Tibet, became a monk. Eventually, upon meditation and all of his great learnings, he opened up his mind and saw the true ugliness of the world. So he actually tried to kill himself. Upon trying to kill himself, he hung himself, and the instant the rope tightened, he became extremely aroused and gained these abilities. It just happened. His mind was so open that he now had these abilities when he was excited by this noose. The rope snapped, and his abilities went away. His feet touched the ground. But using his telekinetic abilities, he holds the rope up and walks around on his tiptoes. And whenever he raises his feet, he gains the powers.
I like it. That's golden.
Mind blown.
That's golden.
I still feel like it can never stand up.
No,
to Four-Score Skin.
I like that better.
Let's line them up. Let's line them up. Who wins?
Loose Noose.
Loose Noose beats Four-Score Skin.
I believe it.
And he's almost supremely powerful. The tighter he makes the noose is the tighter he's powerful. He's called Loose Noose because he doesn't have his powers when the noose isn't tight.
I like it.
I was disappointed. I feel like nothing could stand up. Four-Score Skin was gold, and I feel like I let myself down. It came together well, but I was a little.
No, I support him. I would read him.
You would read a Loose Noose book.
I would read him.
Now, seeing that his origin story, and he's not going to be hard when he's using his powers. But can we add him into one of the big two?
He feels like a DC villain.
I could see him as a Batman villain.
Yes. Yeah, like
I could see him as
Batman's borderline S&M already, so let's just go for it.
I could see him being the guy who has always been in prison, never cared to get out because he doesn't want to hurt people, but he eventually gets out, and he's the guy who was moved from, what was the jail before Arkham City? Blackgate?
Yes.
He was moved from Blackgate to Arkham, and nobody said a word. When the whole Arkham thing happened, he just stayed in his cell. Nobody cared. But he gets out and just wreaks havoc.
I like it.
See, I'm glad. I like this vote of confidence here.
I do like it.
Because now I'm good moving forward with this segment. I'm really excited about it. So, thumbs up to Loose Noose.
Thumbs up to
Loose Noose versus Four-Score Skin. Loose Noose wins.
Loose Noose all the way.
Oh, I'm pretty excited.
Team Loose Noose.
I'm pretty excited. So, he's definitely a villain. He's a Batman villain. And he beats Four-Score Skin.
He beats Four-Score Skin.
So, this character creation corner was a win.
It was a win. Definitely.
I'm super excited about that. Next, we have non-comic or pop culture, which we kind of talk about in news, but this is more things that, just you go with. What about, you watched S.H.I.E.L.D. this week?
I believe so. That was the ice storm thing?
What?
That thing that made ice? No, that was last week, huh?
Maybe I didn't watch it. No, there was no ice involved.
There was no ice involved. Did you watch one with ice involved? You tell me what happened on your...
I don't want to, because there was a reveal.
Yeah, oh, God, then don't do that.
At the end, there was a reveal.
Oh.
I really want to talk about it now.
Oh.
I'll let you watch it.
Does Sky have powers? Is that the reveal? They hinted at it.
They hinted at it. What was Sky doing at the end of the episode you watched?
Nothing. Cool.
You didn't watch the episode.
Coulson told her about...
You missed an episode. We'll talk about it next week.
God,
and there'll be another episode to watch. What are you doing to me? This was going to be like a 15-minute topic. I'm bummed out now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Next, you noted and you hinted, it wasn't a hint actually, you said that you were picking up Buffy, the new season of Buffy in comic books.
I am.
Are you picking up the rest of the Joss Whedon verse? You know he's coming out with 2 other books.
Angel and Faith? Angel and Faith, which would be Angel Season 8?
And a new Serenity book.
I've never watched Serenity. I don't know if I would enjoy it. I've heard mixed things.
See, I just read an article I didn't read it. I scanned it in Bleeding Cool magazine, which is late all the time. But I read that, and I've never been a huge fan of Joss Whedon. I respect what he did with Avengers, obviously. But before that, I've never even experienced anything Joss Whedon-esque.
Honestly, if you watch Buffy and then go back and watch, the scene in Avengers where right before the finale when they're all standing in a circle and it's going around?
Yeah.
They do that in Buffy, before the final fight in the last season. Same shot.
So there's a fight in the last season. Thanks. I'm glad you just ruined the entire series for me.
Come on.
Are there vampires in it too? Ruined.
Well, actually, it's not against vampires. You can see.
I can't
watch
watch
you're
Buffy.
going to watch it.
I'm watching too many things right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You want to talk about canceled books? Even though that's, I guess, it's comic related.
Well, first, now I remember, did you hear the rumor about the post-credit scene in Avengers? Winter Soldier?
Don't tell me about this.
You don't want to know?
No.
You don't even want to know what the rumor is?
It's
not confirmed.
I like watching them. Like, when I watched, what was the last Marvel movie?
Thor.
When I watched Thor, and it was The Collector.
That was phenomenal.
And I didn't know. Perfect.
You don't want to know?
No, because I don't even want to watch the trailers anymore. Like, that's how much... It's so hard for me not to watch them because they're phenomenal.
I understand.
But I just want to go and watch the movie.
See, that's what I want to do. I wasn't even, like, looking for it. I was just scrolling down, and I'm like, oh.
Because, like, that moment in Avengers when Hulk saves Iron Man, when he's falling to Earth and he grabs onto that building, imagine if we wouldn't have seen that on the trailer.
That's true.
Imagine how incredible that would have been. Man. I just don't want to watch him anymore. Like, in the new Captain America trailer, when the shield carrier is crashing through a building.
Yeah, that kind of bummed me out.
What if I wanted to see that in the theater?
I know. It kind of took away the awe of it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's so hard not to watch him, though. I hear about him, like, I need to see it. I need to see
Like,
it.
even when he threw the shield at the Winter Soldier and he caught it.
Man.
I mean...
The first time I saw that, I was just floored. I was laying on the ground.
I'm not going to lie. That trailer still gave me chills.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, the Super Bowl Captain America commercial.
Yeah.
Or trailer. Yeah,
Trailer.
I loved it. Ad drop. I know, we're talking about canceled books. You took us off course here.
I'm sorry.
Nightwing, you don't care.
No.
I just got into Nightwing. DC's telling me I shouldn't read any Batman-related books, so I'm taking it as that. Letting Nightwing get canceled and done.
Is he dying? Is that what it is?
They say he's not, but, I mean, how would I know that?
Maybe he'll become like
It's a rumor that
evil
he might
Batman.
be. It's a rumor that he might be. Superman Unchained, you don't read.
No, I don't, but I thought that was just a mini-series to begin with.
No, it was an ongoing, it was the Jim Lee being Jim Lee book.
Ah, Jim Lee.
I think Scott Snyder was the writer too, so it was like a super team. Like, it was a super creative team. And I actually liked the story that was going on, but it was so far out of any continuity that they can't do anything with. It was some guy, it was like an alien that they caught, that the government caught, and then trained to be Superman, but he was like more powerful than Superman, and him and Superman became friends somehow.
That is really far out there.
Yeah, but it was a good story, though. It was being told well, and I actually enjoyed it, but it was bi-monthly to begin with.
Oh.
I think it was bi-monthly, because I don't remember reading a lot of them.
Well, there were only 10, weren't there?
I don't even know if there were 10.
No.
I think 10 might be the last issue.
I guess 10 bi-monthly would be quite a while.
Yeah, there's no way there were 10. Although I think it was, like, bi-weekly for the first 3 issues. Like, like they do.
I don't know if it was bi-weekly or just 15 covers for one issue.
Oh, well, I mean, DC's not as known for that as Marvel.
Villain Month. Hello.
I didn't pick up any books on Villain Month.
You have that Green Arrow one.
It came for free.
You want those 3D covers.
See, if I found the 3D covers for cover price, I'd buy them.
That's not even ever happening.
If I found the 3D covers for $5 a piece, I'd buy them. Anything more than that, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do that. I feel like I'm in the 90s.
I believe it.
Suicide Squad. You read it?
I used to. Dropped it a long time
So
ago.
it was bad.
I bought it for Harley Quinn. Then she got her own book. So it's like, what's the point?
Teen Titans.
That's a weird one. I'm kind of... I don't understand why they're canceling that.
The only thing I have with Teen Titans is it's been intermingling with Superboy. And I don't read Teen Titans. And every time I pick up an issue of Superboy, it's telling me, previously in Teen Titans, like, make it its own book. And I thought Superboy was dying. Like, the current issues of Superboy, it's not even Superboy anymore, because he sacrificed himself to save Krypton. Or to kill Krypton. You didn't read any of the Krypton.
No, but you know what? I
explained it to you. You probably read something about it.
Well, that and the hell, Supergirl. She's all mad.
Yeah. Well, he sacrificed, and it's like another... It's a different version of him, an evil version, and he's back to fight the Teen Titans. He fights Raven in the last issue. It's really weird. I don't understand what's going on. It's really confusing, but it was easier to understand once I remembered that it was an evil version of him. Stormwatch. Definitely don't read. I'm super bummed out that Jim Starlin, one of my favorite writers of all time.
You just compared them in the same...
I didn't compare them. There's a name. They're both named Jim, and I was just talking about Jim Lee. Don't do that.
Uh-oh.
Don't do that.
Uh-oh.
Jim Starlin, one of my favorite comic writers of all time, is not even allowed to wrap up his own book. The last issue isn't written by him.
See, I don't understand why DC has to push out this, gotta have 52 titles. Like, if you can't...
Is that seriously what they're doing?
I believe... Because they're gonna cancel these. They'll come out with ones to replace it.
Well, speaking of which, JLA. canceled,
I'm so bummed.
being replaced with the book that was originally titled Justice League Canada, Justice League United.
So it's just like the modern version of Justice League International. You give me Booster Gold in there.
It's supposed to be a little, I don't know, I read somewhere that it's supposed to be a little more broader. It's supposed to be a little more cosmic-ish. It's going to be a cosmic adventure, the first story arc, which I'm fine with, personally. But they're taking away my Martian Manhunter and Stargirl.
I know.
Give them their own book.
I can't believe they're... Like, I've enjoyed JLA the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I think about it.
There were some bummers in there. There were some bum issues in there.
But when it started, it was leading up to that. The bad butler guy was the main villain in the beginning of it. Now that I think about it,
I don't remember. So you're saying it was pretty much just a miniseries for
lead up to Forever Evil.
Yeah, which I don't read anything of. Are you gonna ad drop? What are we working on here? Let's talk about Black Widow that you just read the first 2 issues of. Third one came out this week. You haven't read it yet. I've read it.
I love the art.
You adding it to your poll, or are you just reading mine like a
it's
poor,
still,
like
it's
a
still
poor kid?
$3.99 though.
See, that's the thing. Listen to me here. $3.99 for that book. Not worth it.
No.
The art is telling more of the story than the writing, so you speed through it. That is a solid $2.99 book.
Yes.
You don't get enough story for $3.99.
No, I would definitely pay $2.99 for this. I would add it right now.
It's a hell of a book, without a doubt. It's good. You don't get enough story, and there's not enough meat in the sandwich.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't exactly know what she's doing. She's working for some guy for free to redeem herself.
She's clearing the red from her ledger.
But it's just random people going after her. They don't really have any setup.
Well, the second one, how they're making her assistant a character. Excuse me. They're making her assistant a character now. Like he killed those people in the limo.
Yeah.
I like that. You're adding a little more dimension because, like, you remember when I told you about these how the story can go stale fast. Like they need to do something or it's gonna go fast.
See, I feel like it could be good, like James Bond. Like
you give me $2.99, I'll stay on this book till it's done.
Oh my god, I'd pay $2.99.
$3.99. I read 3 today. I'm staying on for at least 1 more. But if I don't get more story, I can't do it. I can't pay $3.99 for this book.
Yeah, it's beautiful though. Like Phil Noto does a fantastic job.
But that's the thing. His art tells so much of the story that there's not enough actual story in it. How is Nathan Edmondson making money? He writes it has to be 3 panels of dialogue.
Yeah,
and the rest is boom, plop,
You just give me panels, and I could, fill in the story myself.
So you're not adding Black Widow, but it's on the cusp for you. You're gonna read mine.
If something else, that's $3.99. Captain Marvel is freaking $3.99 now. Kind of turned me off.
I added something this week, and I dropped something this week. No idea what they are. Can't remember what they are.
You probably dropped Nightwing.
No. Like when a book finishes, I have to follow it through. I think I added Elektra because I think that finally got added onto our comic subscription site. But I dropped something too. I don't know. There's a few independent books I'm reading right now. Oh, I added Southern Bastards. It's an Image title by Jason Aaron, who's doing Thor and just killing everything he writes. And I figured I have to support him because if he's one of my favorite writers now, that's a creator-owned title. I have to check it out. Anything else? Is there anything you're dropping other than Captain Marvel because it's $3.99?
No, actually, I'm gonna stay in Captain Marvel. I enjoyed it, and it seems to be more cosmic now.
What if it's horrible?
You know what? I want that guy back doing the art. I can't remember his name.
That guy. I'm sure that guy is happy that you want him back on the art.
It was like Anja or something. I don't know. People really didn't like his art. It was very,
Jock.
Loose.
I hate Jock, sorry. Now, did you ever read Jock? His name's just Jock.
No.
He did Wolverine Max. Or, he did the Wolverine title before it ended.
I can't remember his name, but
Savage Wolverine.
It was awesome. I loved it. I mean, his faces weren't really there, but I don't know. It really, it made me feel something real.
It wasn't Ramos. It wasn't Humberto Ramos' work, is what you're saying. It wasn't horrific.
Yeah.
I read Punisher #1 today. Just came out this week. And I loved it. The writing at the beginning is perfect. it opens up with Frank saying to himself, well, it's not how the book opens up, but it's the first time you see Frank in the book. He talks about a drowning feeling, because he's in water, but the panel's upside down. So it looks like he's diving into water, but realistically the gun's coming out the bottom and it's shooting out of water. And he's like, drowning, it burns. He's like, you can kick and you can scream, but as a water filter, as long as there's nothing you can do. He's like, I've been drowning for a while. My lungs are burning for air. Fantastic.
Wow.
And he didn't mean like in the water, he meant in life.
That's pretty deep for a comic book.
It is, exactly.
Man.
And he has this weird interaction with at this diner. It reminds me of his original series. And I love his original series. The original Punisher ongoing. When did that start? Late 80s?
Yeah, like 87?
87, 88, somewhere around there. It seemed like the way he's acting. And he's drawn completely differently than the modern Punisher you see. I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say he's an uglier man, but it's more of how you expect the Punisher to look.
He's more of like, he's been through some stuff.
Yeah. But I like how they don't lean on the fact that his whole family's dead. I feel like everybody should know that at this point, so they don't be like, hey, my whole family died.
Yeah, they really beat that.
Yeah, they beat it down hard. But I really enjoyed it. He's in Argentina in one part, and he jumps into the boat, this guy, and he's like, where are the drugs going? Where are the drugs? It's how I hear Frank Castle in my head, just yelling at people all the time.
Mouthful of marbles?
Yeah, mouthful of
Mike and Ike?
polished stones.
Polished stones.
Like, you get a rock tumbler, you tumble a bunch of rocks, put them in your mouth.
Rock tumblers were fantastic. You bring them back memories. Wow.
Well, Frank Castle's bringing back the memories. Well, he jumps in the boat and he says, where's the drugs going? Where are they going? And the guy, like, says, get that, like, he's pointing a gun at him, and he grabs the barrel of the gun and, like, moves it out, and Frank just shoots his hand off. He says, don't touch my gun. Great moment.
That's fantastic.
It's full of great moments. And the guy tells him, and he's like, oh my god, my hand. And he's like, well, why don't you tell me where they are? The gators are coming. Because they're in a swamp, and the gators start rolling in. And he's like, he says something along the lines of, I told you what you wanted to know, you're going to let me go. And he said, well, you touched my gun. And he just throws him into the water. Like, it's a great Frank Castle. It's a great Punisher. I hope it stays as good. That's the problem. Sometimes these writers put so much into making number one good that number two just drops off.
Or when they just start going, they switch teams, and it's like, you know.
See, but you're hoping for a switch on She-Hulk.
I'm being hopeful.
You want to plead? You want to plead that everybody pick it up?
But, yeah, pick up She-Hulk.
I mean, if anybody listens to this.
I mean, no one does, but it's okay. I mean, I'm just reminding myself then to pick up 5 more issues.
So you're telling me next week, it comes out next week, correct?
Yes.
You are holding all of your other books and picking up 14 issues of She-Hulk #1.
I don't think it'd be a bad decision.
Well, don't get me wrong, I'm picking it up. I'm going to check it out.
Thank God.
I had 18 books this week.
It's worth it.
I had 18
You
books.
should have.
How many people do you know that pull 18 books in 1 week? How many people that pull 18 books total?
I'm up to 35 myself.
My number...
They keep going up to $4, though. It's going down.
Yeah, I think my number of total titles right now is 56.
That, sir, is important. But on the other side, the more you have, the cheaper it is, you know? I mean...
At a certain point, it can't work out, though. Like, I need to drop some titles. There's no way I can do this anymore. But with these titles ending, I'm definitely going to have the opportunity to.
Yeah, I mean, since 5's ending, you're not going to be on that anymore.
Any final thoughts? I'm just going to ignore the vibe comment because I've never read a vibe issue in my life.
I don't think anyone has.
No
apparently.
final thought other than the pleading for She-Hulk.
No, because, I mean, I do that every podcast. We'll get it, and it's just going to bomb. Which I don't think it can.
What if you read it and it's like the big reveal is that she's a transsexual? Like that she has a penis now.
Oh, boy.
I don't know how they're going to reveal that exactly.
Awkward boners.
How are they going to reveal that?
Kind of like an Ace Ventura. When he rips
That's the
off
biggest case of hemorrhoids I've ever seen.
Yes.
Laces out. What's his name? Ray Finkel?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn's a man.
Oh man, I need to watch that.
That's fantastic.
I want to watch Troll 2. We need to do a podcast about Troll 2. Just like kind of a bonus pod. It won't be our weekly thing, but it'll be a separate one. I mean, we can still do the same day. You'll have to make a day out of it.
Yeah.
We'll watch that, do a pod about that, and then do our comic pod, or vice versa.
We can read and watch Troll 2, and then
And I mean, bad movies. I love bad movies. You love bad movies.
I do love bad movies.
We could talk about them forever.
That's a true story.
My final thought? Well, I'm just going to hop on board with you. Go ahead and pick up She-Hulk.
Look at this guy.
Go ahead and pick up She-Hulk.
This is
I'm
my
being
man.
generous today. Being generous today. I think I'm just trying to repay you for accepting my loose news and telling me that it was good. Because I was
Loose News was awesome. I'll tell you, everything else is awesome if you buy more She-Hulk.
Well, I mean, I guess we could wrap this up. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I'm at BreakdownBrand. One word, obviously. I guess you can't have two words on a Twitter handle.
No.
At Breakdown, BREAKDOWN, Brand, BRAND.
And I am at Stickosaurus, which is STICKASAURUS.
Nobody's going to...
I have trouble spelling it sometimes.
Eventually, I want to make a Twitter handle for the pod itself.
Why don't you get on that?
Well, because I don't want to be that guy that makes one, and then we have no followers because nobody listens. So I'm going to give it a little time. Like, if we get some followers from this, then maybe I'll make that. But
I doubt we'll get followers.
nobody listens to this.
It's okay.
I try to promote it, but
I've been retweeting you all week.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad I got to do all the legwork here.
You know, someone's gonna be the brain, someone's gonna do the legwork. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Coming from the guy who doesn't make any characters up, and coming from the guy who thinks this dude's just carrying around a bunch of weird ropes.
Hey, you know, whatever. You know,
Okay.
I gotta think more perverse next time then.
Okay, and on that note, well, I guess we're gonna head out. Thanks for listening. If you did listen, obviously, if you heard this part, you listened.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And just remember, beware of loose news.